Hey guys, it's Ash here with WatchMojo, and these are the top 10 anime final battles. For this list, we'll be looking at the concluding battles that got our hearts racing. We're only considering anime battles that took place at the very end of a series run. This means that final battles from arcs like Luffy vs Rob Lucci or Goku vs Frieza will not be considered.
Hey Mojoholics! For a chance to win cash prizes, play our live daily trivia challenges every day at 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern only at WatchMojo.com/play.
Number 20, Dragon Slayers vs Acnologia, Fairy Tail. With Zera finally defeated, there is only one threat that stands in the way of peace, Acnologia, and it's all up to the Dragon Slayers to finally come together. After Acnologia overpowers and defeats them, Wendy channels all the Dragon Slayers' magic into Natsu. With Acnologia unable to move due to the Fairy Sphere's power, Natsu is able to combine all their different elements and finally put an end to the Dragon King with a gigantic fire punch. Number 19, Alucard vs Walter, Hellsing Ultimate.
This foolish plot of yours ends today! Eat this!
When Alucard unleashed his ultimate attack, level 0, he pretty much wiped out all the competition. Everyone, that is, except for this one unlikely final challenge. After siding with the opposition, Walter's youth is restored to him, returning him to the killing machine he was back in the day.
Well, dear Walter, care to dance?
While Alucard proves a formidable opponent, it is ultimately Walter who stands tall at the end of the battle with the help of some outside interference.
The great Alucard is dead!
Though that victory wouldn't last very long. Number 18, Kenshin vs Enishi, Rurouni Kenshin Reflection. The final arc in Rurouni Kenshin was never animated back in the day, but luckily we were given a very abridged version of it along with its final battle in this two-part OVA. Blaming Kenshin for the death of his sister Tomoe, Enishi kidnaps his beloved Kaoru, which leads to them duking it out by the seaside. The two take advantage of the elements in this unique location, and emotions certainly run high. The battle ends when Kenshin gains the advantage over Enishi, allowing him to apologize for his sister's death.
絵にし、すまなかった。戦いに勝っても犯した罪が許されるとは思っていない。
Number 17, Shinji vs Gendo, Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0, thrice upon a time. Dating all the way back to the original 1996 series, the relationship between Shinji and his father was a tumultuous one, which we thought we'd never see resolved. More than 2 decades later, we finally got to see them hash it out, but not before a surreal mecha showdown in their Evas. The epic finale between the two takes us to past locations in the franchise as though everything was recorded on set. The battle finally ends when the two realize that it's going nowhere, and that the battle cannot be settled through might. Number 16, Vash vs Knives, Trigun. As the main antagonist of Trigun, Knives has a deep hatred for humans and wants them all completely eradicated from the planet Gunsmoke. Opposing him is his brother Vash, and it all comes to a head in this final shootout. The two duke it out with not only their revolvers, but their incredibly powerful angel arms.
You're wrong about this, Vash.
I won't make the same mistake twice.
When Knives appears to have the battle won, Vash unleashes his late friend Wolfwood's crossgun from under the sand, giving him the opportunity to defeat his estranged sibling. Number 15, Mob vs. Reagan, Mob Psycho 100. While on his way to tell Tsubomi his feelings, Mob is hit by a car, which leads him to awaken his unknown percentage state and go on a rampage. Despite the best efforts of his friends, no one is able to stop him until Reagan arrives on the scene. The phony psychic proceeds to battle his way through the craziest storm you've ever seen in order to get to his student. Thanks to a little help from Dimple, Reagan is finally able to reach Mob and unleashes his one final attack, telling Mob the truth that he isn't actually a psychic. Number 14, Yusuke vs. Yomi, Yu Hakusho. A series usually ends with the protagonist winning, right? The final battle in Yu Hakusho takes our expectations and tosses them right out the window. In the third round of the Demon World Tournament, Yusuke faces off against one of the three kings of the Demon Realm, Yomi, who proves to be more than a match for the young spirit detective. None of his powers are enough to break the king's shield, so he reverts back to what he knows best, throwing punches. This fight ends with a classic slugfest, which Yusuke actually loses. Bet you didn't see that one coming.
Your loss was a week ago. You've been asleep ever since. I lost?
Number 13, Gintoki vs. Utsuro, Gintama the Final. The finale of not only the Silver Soul arc, but the long-running franchise itself, sees Gintoki finally confront the darker side of his teacher Utsuro, who has taken over the body of his longtime rival / enemy, Takasugi. As with many battles before it, we're treated to a fantastic sword battle that harkens back to defining moments in the franchise between Gintoki, Takasugi, and Shoyu. After Utsuro realizes he's no longer immortal in Takasugi's body, Gin finally puts an end to the main antagonist. Number 12, Dai vs. Vern, Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai. After a long and grueling battle, Dai finally unlocks the full power of both his dragon crests and transforms into a new dragonoid form. In order to counter this, Vern himself unleashes his full power, transforming into a huge monster that towers over Dai. The two battle it out in stunning fashion in space, with both of them pushing the other to the limits. The battle finally ends when Dai grabs his sword, which had already been lodged inside Vern many episodes ago, and tears right through the Dark King, ending him once and for all. Number 11, Ash vs. Leon, Pokemon. To say we'd been waiting years for this moment is certainly an understatement. After winning the Alola League, Ash enters the Masters 8 tournament and goes all the way to the finals against Galar champion Leon. After a grueling battle, everything comes down to their two final Pokemon, Pikachu and Charizard, in a dazzling display. After finding the will to continue fighting thanks to the support of Ash's previous companion Pokemon, Pikachu launches one final attack alongside the iconic Pokemon theme to win the battle, allowing Ash to become world champion. Number 10, Kiritsugu vs. Kirei, Fate Zero.
Double Axel!
Usually when rivals have their final showdown, they've already had a few battles. However, this climactic fight is unique simply because it is the first and last time Kiritsugu and Kirei meet, and they're both keenly aware of just how deadly the other is. With no superpowered servants to get in the way, it's just two men in a concrete basement with guns and knives. Kiritsugu finally manages to pull off a surprise victory, but he'll soon find that it may not have been worth it.
セイバーよ、宝具にて聖杯を破壊せよ。
Number 9, Akira vs. Ryo, Devilman Crybaby.
お前と戦うつもりはない。
俺はお前をぶちのめしたくてたまんねえぜ。
Once best friends, now the main obstacle standing in front of each other's goals. Following the heartbreaking penultimate episode in which the person Akira loves most was brutally murdered, the stage was set for one of the biggest blood feuds in history, Akira vs. Ryo, Devilman vs. Satan. Though their battle takes center stage, it's the ensuing chaos around them between the demonic legions, the Devilman, and the last of humanity's numbers that makes this battle so epic. Alas, when the dust finally settles, we learn that bloodshed truly wasn't the ending these two wanted. Number 8, Yugi vs. Atom, YuGiOh Duel Monsters. They say that you are your own worst enemy, and that couldn't be truer for this final duel in Yu-Gi-Oh!
I guess we're about to find out who the true king of games is.
There can't be a bigger challenge than overcoming an opponent that knows every move you're gonna make. Though luckily for Yugi, he knows Atom just as well, resulting in a duel with no tricks, no cheats or gimmicks, and no Exodias.
This is the strongest monster I have left, and you know him quite well.
It's just a battle of wits between a kid and his Egyptian pharaoh friend, and one of the fairest duels in the whole series. Like all feel-good stories, Yugi overcomes his companion in the end and gives him a tearful farewell.
The gift of kindness you've given me and the courage I've given you will remain with us.
Number 7, Amuro vs. Char, Mobile Suit Gundam.
Well, it is his first time in the Geong.
The Gundam series is no stranger when it comes to rival battles. However, Char and Amuro stand out not just because of how many times they clash over the series, but the unrelenting pace of their final battle in the anime.
Char!
As the Battle of Aboaku reaches its climax, the two rivals engage in a fierce mecha battle, with both performing at their peak ability. However, they decided to up the ante and end their rivalry with a sword fight in zero gravity.
Not in my case.
Though they both managed to walk away from the fight alive, it's not without some permanent scars. Number 6, Spike vs. Vicious, Cowboy Bebop.
So, you're finally awake. I told you before, Spike. I'm the only one who can kill you and set you free.
One of the classic finales in anime, Spike and Vicious's duel is short but very, very sweet. Former comrades in the Red Dragon crime syndicate, the two share a bitter rivalry over their differing opinions on who should become the new head of the syndicate, as Spike's calm and lazy attitude doesn't really gel well with Vicious's cold sadism. Spike is not only heavily injured from the start, but he also only has a pistol, which puts him in a disadvantage in close quarters. Alas, the Space Cowboy comes out on top, barely. Number 5, Naruto vs. Sasuke, Naruto Shippuden.
20度ものチャクラをわずかしか持たないお前は今の俺には対抗できない。
The end of the Naruto series and an emotional fight for the fans. These two ninja really know how to go out with a bang. Friends and rivals since their younger days as ninja in training, it was inevitable that even after defeating all the enemies in their path, that Naruto and Sasuke would face off one final time. It's one intense fight too, with both of them bringing out all their signature techniques and moves that they've honed over the course of the series. The final clash costs them each an arm, but makes their bond even stronger. Number 4, Goku vs. Kid Buu, Dragon Ball Z. There have been many big bads over the course of Dragon Ball Z, however, none of which were close to the nightmare that is Kid Buu. Every other antagonist at least had some goal in mind, such as conquering a planet or winning a tournament, but Kid Buu was just chaos incarnate, a being bent on nothing but the destruction of life.
Peekaboo!
Goku wouldn't even stand a chance if it weren't for Vegeta, Majin Buu, and yes, Hercule backing him up. They barely eke out a win with the Super Spirit Bomb, which completely obliterates Kid Buu, making him one of the only villains killed by Goku in the entire series. Number 3, Jotaro vs. Dio, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Stardust Crusaders. Using time stop in a fight is almost like cheating, and Dio is the king of that. His stand, the world, can stop time for a full 5 seconds, which is more than enough to take down both Kakyoin and Grandpa Joseph. The final battle is pretty one-sided, with Dio stopping time to inflict heavy damage on Jotaro at every turn. However, the stylish delinquent manages to turn the tables by pushing his Star Platinum to the limits and trapping Dio in, you guessed it, an even stronger time stop, and destroys the world, defeating the villain for good. Number 2, Team Daikuran vs. Anti-Spiral, Gurren Lagann.
And that's Tengen Toppa! That's Gurren Lagann! My drill is the drill that creates the heavens!
If this list were based solely on the scale of fights, then this Clash of the Titans would take the number 1 spot for sure. Gurren Lagann is a series known for constantly outdoing itself when it comes to battles, and it culminates in 2 gigantic mecha fighting in space.
That planet don't belong to you!
Seriously, these two are so massive that the galaxies around them are used both as shields and as weapons. The momentum in this fight is hypercharged, with characters coming in to help any way they can, and if the final clash doesn't get you on your feet screaming, then we don't know what will. Impact! Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Everyone vs. Father. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Don't give the bastard a chance to hit back! Yes, sir!
Nothing quite gets us cheering like characters coming together to take down a seemingly invincible foe. Father not only hits like a truck, but he can deflect alchemy, bullets, and bombs like they were nothing. Even with the combined efforts of several alchemists, the army, and some returning foes, he barely takes any damage. However, just when things are looking grim, Greed sacrifices himself to give Ed an opening to deliver a well-deserved, rage-fueled beatdown. For a finale, this fight has it all and is a great send-off to an overall fantastic series. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.